Hey everybody, we are getting ready to make some chicken and dumplings. So y'all come on into my kitchen. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to jump on, then we're going to start getting all our supplies together here. How's everybody doing today? It is Sunday afternoon. I hope some of y'all are already up from your nap. I didn't get a nap today. I normally don't sleep on Sundays, just every once in a while. All right, I'm going to try to pin this comment down here. All right, here we go. All right, come on in, whoever's watching. We are getting ready to make some chicken and dumplings. No, they're not for me and Tony. Tony don't like chicken and dumplings, so I make them when he's not home. He's not home right at the moment. But he's not going to eat these anyways. I'm making these to take to somebody. So, I'm going to get my stuff together here. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to get my broth ready. Well, I guess the first thing I should do is get my buttermilk ready. Let's try that. Because y'all know I use this powdered buttermilk. It's powder. It comes in there and you can mix it with water to make a buttermilk for baking. But today I'm going to mix it with regular milk because that'll just make it that much stronger and thicker. So let me grab my milk. And I'm going to grab me a little container. We're going to make about a cup. Somewhere around a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup. And then if I need more, I can just dump some more milk in. Roll them thin. Yep, you got to roll them thin when you're making dumplings because they're going to poof up. All right, so to use this powdered buttermilk, I buy this right, Walmart, Food Line, everybody has it. You take 4 tablespoons of it, and I'm just going to hit or miss 4. Ain't going to be exact, but they're going to be close. If you have regular buttermilk, I never keep regular buttermilk because I only bake with it and cook with it. I don't do anything else with it. All right, there's about 4 tablespoons of this powdered buttermilk. And I'm going to add in about 3/4 of a cup. Let's see, I think my recipe, this is in my recipe book. It says 3/4 to a cup of buttermilk. So I'm going to put about 3/4 in there. And I'm just going to stir this up. And then I'm going to let this kind of, it'll thicken up a little bit. Oh, somebody else is making a chicken and dumplings. Well, I had a couple of chickens here that Tony smoked the other day. So I put them both in some boiling water. And then I picked all the good chicken meat off. And I got me a whole pot of broth over there. So I don't have to use any broth. I'm going to use that homemade broth. And I could put some better than bouillon. I do have some better than bouillon here. And that'll make it that much thicker. Let me grab that out of here. If I can find it. Here it is. Way back here in the back of the fridge. All right, here we go. One thing, I don't ever buy chicken broth. To me, it's very expensive. And you could make your own just out of your chicken. If you buy a whole chicken or something like that. So I always boil my chicken when I get done with it and save the broth. And then you can just add some better than bouillon. This is reduced sodium, better than bouillon, roasted chicken. So I'm going to put some of this in there. I'm going to set it out here. So we got our buttermilk made up here from our powdered buttermilk. I'm going to set that to the side. And I got a pot here. We're going to put our broth into here. I got this big strainer. And I'm going to, this is my chicken broth here that I cook my chickens in. And y'all can see how yellow it is. But I like to strain it because I want to make sure it don't have no little bones or nothing like that in there. So let's strained. It's a big pot of broth. I'm just going to set that to the side. And here's everything it caught. So just caught a little bit of chicken. I already picked all the chicken off, and I got me a bowl of dark meat and white meat. And I pick it all off and make sure there's no gristle, no anything. So there's a couple pieces of good chicken in here. I'm going to use that. The rest is just some scraps. I'm going to throw this out. And now I have me about up to here. Just a little bit over halfway full of good chicken broth. Look at that. Now that was 2 chickens I used and some water to get that. I probably don't even need any better than bouillon, but I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit in there. It will just add a little bit of extra flavor. So I'm going to put like a, let's see. Let me see how much I'm going to put in here. It says 1 teaspoon equals 1 bouillon cube for 8 ounces of water. So I'm just going to get a big old, about that much, and I'm just going to melt that down in there. This is still warm where I just cooked it a minute ago. All right, I'm going to put this up, and I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator real quick. That way, I'm going to put this chicken back over here. I add my chicken at the very end after I get my dumplings done. All right, this is going on the stove to start the boiling process. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on high. And I'm just going to stick a lid on it and let that sit over there. Now, I've already cleaned this counter off here, so I'm going to stick this bowl right here to the side. I have got, let's see, the recipe now is in my book. Page 29, chicken and dumplings. 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I've already measured that out right here. So I'm going to dump that in here, y'all. I got ahead of myself today. I went ahead and did that. All right, so I got the 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and then a 1/2 cup of shortening. Let me see. I'm gonna. So this is just it's Walmart brand, but it's like Crisco. I'll put that down in there. We're going to work all this in just a minute. Put my Crisco down in there. All right. And now we're going to get our buttermilk going in there. We're going to put like 3/4 cup to 1 cup of buttermilk. And then I'm going to get some salt and pepper out here. I don't want to forget my salt and pepper in my dumplings, because I'm making these to take to somebody. All right. So we got that in there. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I started to pour milk in. Now I'm going to pour this buttermilk in. This is the buttermilk we just mixed up. So it's probably going to take all of it. I'm going to go ahead and just put it all in there, because I only put like 3/4 of a cup. And if we got to add any more, we can just add regular milk to stretch it on out here. Let me put this in the sink. All right, so I am just going to, some people go like that with their hands. I don't really want to do that. I just usually take a wooden spoon here, and I'm just going to mix that up with the wooden spoon. I know a lot of people grab it and do that. I'm gonna put the, when the dough get mixed up, then I'm going to grab it. But to start with, to get all that grease and everything in there, I'm just going to do it with this. And you can see how dry it is. That's definitely going to need more buttermilk. But I got enough buttermilk in there. I just need more liquid. So we're just going to add some whole milk to it here. And we'll just add it a little bit at a time to get it going here. And we're just going to get this in a big ball of dough here to make these dumplings with. This is about the same thing you do for biscuits. But we're going to roll these out on the counter and get them really thin. Yeah, I don't have enough. It's way too dry. So we need some more liquid in here. And you can tell at the end when you get it mixed up, if it's dry, add more liquid. If it's dry and crumbly, add more liquid. If it's too wet and soggy looking, put you a little bit more flour in there. So this is just about, this is still a little bit on the dry side. I always find it takes more liquid than what it says. That's looking pretty good right there. It's shaping up into a ball. Yeah, it's shaping up there into a ball. I think that's going to be enough. We're going to try it here in a minute. Let me clean this spoon off. And I'm going to take and I'm going to sprinkle flour all over. I just cleaned this whole counter here so I can roll my dumplings right out on this counter. And I don't want it sticking to the counter. So we're going to put plenty of that on here. And I'm going to take my bowl scraper here and I'm going to scrape all this out of here. And I'm going to put it right here. Right here. And then I'm going to work it a little bit. Make sure it's good and mixed up. All right. Get you a big old, now you could use this same stuff here to make fried pies or anything. That's just a good base for your dough. All right, now I'm going to get some of this flour on my hands and we're going to work it now. Yeah, I'm taking this out to that couple at my church. You know, I told you I baked them snickerdoodles yesterday for them. And they weren't able to come to church this morning. So I thought, well, if I got to ride out to their house, I might as well do them some chicken and dumplings. Ain't no use riding all the way out there just for some cookies, right? So, making up some good dough here. Look at that dough. That feels so good. Working that dough like that. And see, it's not sticking to my hands, so it's good. If it was all sticking to your hands, you'd have to put more flour on it. So, we want to make sure we got plenty of flour here when we start rolling it out. Now, I got my broth over there on high. I'm going to get it high. You want to get that stuff a-boiling and big. So, I got me a rolling pin here, y'all, and this is heavy. This is like marble. So I'm just going to start rolling this stuff out. Now, if it was biscuits, we could stop right there. Well, if it was biscuits, you better use some self-rising flour, actually. These are dumplings, so that's the difference. If you're doing dumplings, I use all-purpose flour. I don't know if it, I think if you used self-rising, your dumplings would probably blow up. Be big. So I'm gonna make sure I got plenty of this. We want to get this spread out. And you got to do it. You got to do it really thin if you're doing dumplings. So I got this big counter and I cleaned this whole thing off. I can already hear that stuff boiling over there. Some people saying, okay, so some people say they use either one. Either self-rising flour or all-purpose. I usually just use all-purpose for dumplings, but I guess you could use, I thought maybe they would, you know, get a little blowed up more. And it don't matter if you got extra flour, that's going to just thicken up your gravy when you do it. So let's go ahead and roll this out a little bit more. You want to make sure it's thin as you can get it when you're doing dumplings. Might have to go this way a little bit, try to get it thinner. Sure. And it don't much matter about the shape. You're just going to cut them in little strips about 1 inch wide, maybe 3 or 4 inches long. So that's how easy. Now sometimes people use canned biscuits, and I also got a recipe in my book for canned biscuits. If you want to use canned biscuits and you don't want to make your own dough, but it's very easy to make your own dough and a whole lot cheaper. Where is Trevor? I have not seen Trevor. I don't know where he's at or what he's doing. I have not talked to them since last Saturday. So I don't know. I know he talks to his dad more. I don't normally, you know, talk to him. I just see them when they come over. All right, so there you go. It's all rolled out, a big old sheet. Now you can take a knife, any kind of knife, and slice it. You could take a pizza cutter, slice it like that. Whatever you want to do. Okay, y'all can see over here, my broth is just a boiling. See the steam coming up? So all you got to do now is just cut these things in strips. Let's see what it says in my book. Use a rolling pin with flour on it. Cut the dough out. Roll the dough out. Cut into strips. Drop the strips into the boiling pot of chicken broth. Keep boiling for about 10 minutes. So you want to kind of go from here to there as fast as you can, because you want them all to cook at the same speed. So if it takes you 10 minutes to drop them all in, the first dumpling in is going to be cooking 10 minutes longer than the last dumpling in. So I'm just going to use, I think I'm just going to use a little, just a little paring knife, and just go ahead and start cutting these down like this. Cut them one way. I'm just going to cut them all. And then we're going to start transferring them over. How's that? So you can use a little paring knife, like I said. Pizza cutter works good. I usually just use this little paring knife. But my dumplings is over there boiling already. So we're going to boil them 10 minutes uncovered. And then, let's see. And stir them so they don't stick. And then I usually put everything on there and then put the chicken and everything in. And then I cook them about 10 minutes longer covered with a lid. So I usually do 10 minutes without the lid, and then I do 10 minutes with the lid. But you kind of want to stir them every once in a while, just lightly. You don't want to tear your dumplings up, but you kind of want to stir them, so make sure they're not sticking. Just kind of move it around at the bottom of the pot, you know. Make sure they're not going to stick. All right, I hear the Catholic train coming through. That doesn't scratch my counter. I don't know what this is made out of, but I'm not pressing real hard anyways. All right, I'm going to go down through here and I'm going to cut them this way now. I'm just lightly pressing on this. I'm not like making a gouge on the counter or nothing. And you could lay parchment paper down if you're concerned about that. So I'm going to get them all cut before I start throwing them in that boiling water. Can y'all kind of see how I'm cutting them here? I'm just lightly scoring them out here. Got some up here. Cut these. All right, now I'm going to start picking them up and putting them in there. Let me see what I'm going to pick them up with. I think I'm going to use this little metal thing. So my stuff is boiling here. I'm going to get the ones farthest away first. So I'm just going to pick them up and drop them right in this pot. And then the way they'll all cook about at the same speed here. All right, then I'll look at the comments in a minute. Just get them going like this. Got them on high. See how easy it is to make dumplings. Now I like these dumplings is what I call kind of noodle dumplings. I also like the big fluffy dumplings. I like them both. And I don't know which one I like better because I like them both. So sometimes I'll make one kind and the next time I make the other kind. All right, we're getting it going on here. Then I'll stop and look at some comments. Set the timer for 10 minutes. I put so many in there that it's not boiling right now. All right, so I'm going to put the timer on 10 minutes so I'll know about how long they've been in there. And I'm kind of just going to take a fork like that, you know, like this, and just so I can kind of stir them around, make sure they're all broken up. I'll bring y'all over here and show you. Let me go ahead and let me put the milk up. Get this off the counter. And then I'm going to show you. I'm going to clean this. This is called a bench scraper. I know a lot of y'all have these. If you make biscuits, you just scrape your whole counter up. Like this. And then I rake it right into my trash can, y'all. There's 2 more little dumplings. I'll throw them in there. And I usually just grab my trash can up here and rake that right into the trash can. Clean up is very easy with one of these things when you got flour all over your counter. All right. So, the hardest part is over, y'all. I'm just going to wipe this off here real quick. Now, I'm going to keep a watch on them, stir them from time to time. I'm going to show them to you here in a minute. When you get done, you're going to add your chicken. And if you wanted a little bit thicker broth or juice in there, I may add a can of cream of chicken soup. Sometimes I do that. All right, so I'm going to come over here and show y'all what's going on with them. I'm going to try to stir with my left hand. I'm not too good with my left hand. But here they are. They're boiling. Can you see them? They fluff up. Kind of showing me a little bit. But I had a nice big thing of broth. They're not sticking to the bottom. I just slightly drag this fork around the bottom just to make sure they're not sticking. And I'm going to boil them like that for 10 minutes. And I'm going to hope that they're not going to boil over. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, I had to get my wooden spoon, y'all. They looked like they were getting ready to come up and boil over. Whoa, they are. I'm going to slide them back a little bit. Put that wooden spoon there. When you put a wooden spoon on them, it helps the thing to go back down. I'm gonna put them on about a medium, and I'm gonna leave that spoon on there. And I'm also gonna get this boil over. This is a thing from Pampered Chef. It's called a boil over, I think. You can put that on top and your stuff won't boil over. So sometimes the wooden spoon will work, sometimes it won't. I think I got this on upside down, but it don't matter. All right, so I'm going to put the boil over on there. And if it does boil up and boil over, it just goes up into that red thing and it won't boil over onto my stove. Because that's a full pot of dumplings. See it? So I'm going to put them back up on high because I like to cook them on high for the 10 minutes. They got 6 more minutes to go. So if it does boil over now, it'll just come up into that ring and it won't go on my stove. Yeah, sometimes that spoon, if it's a whole lot of flour and stuff in there, and see, it's a big pot, so y'all can see now. With this boil over thing, I just put that on there anytime I do spaghetti, potatoes, and all that. Then I don't have to worry because this was such a full pot. So see, it's just going to come on up like that and boil around, and it'll be okay. Because I could put it on medium heat. If you put it on medium heat, then, but I cook everything on high. I see somebody, Gail Power, say you cook everything on high. That's right, I get it done. I ain't messing with no medium heat. I do got to put the salt and pepper in there yet. I probably won't put a lot of salt in because I'm not sure of these people's dietary restrictions. So I will put some pepper in, maybe just a little bit of salt. And let me get my salt and pepper over here because I don't want to forget that. They'll taste them and they're like, well, that was kind of bland. But anyhow, we got 4 more minutes on them. I'm going to put my salt and pepper there. And we can take a peek at them down here. They're doing good. They did boil over for a little bit. So I'm going to lift this thing up and just stir them around. They seem to be settling down now. So I'm going to pick this up, just stir the bottom around, and there's nothing sticking. I can't feel anything sticking. So it might be, it's probably okay to take this off now so y'all can see what's going on. So I guess most of the starch just done come up out of there. They got 3 more minutes to go. I took that off so y'all can see it. You can't hardly see what's going on with that red thing on there. So they've calmed down some. They are not boiling over anymore. So you don't want to stir them a lot. You don't want to tear your dumplings up. But I like to rake my spoon or fork here on the bottom just to make sure they're not, sticking. Somebody want to know, did I bring Tony something home from church? I did. The man at our church, he makes these things called jalapeno poppers. And what they are, I've made them before. They're jalapeno peppers. And you cut the seeds and stuff out of them. And then you mix up cheese and bacon and I think cream cheese. And you stuff them and then you bake them. And that's one of Tony's favorite things. So I did bring him home. And they're low carb. There's really no carbs in them. I do have the Pampered Chef link at the bottom. Most of the tools, gadgets, and all that I show you are from Pampered Chef. I like quality kitchen tools, and I buy quality kitchen tools. So I have been buying Pampered Chef since 1996. So a lot of the products I've had a long time. So let me stir these around. They got 2 more minutes. And now's the time where they might want to start sticking. So I think what I'm going to do, because the juice is a little thin, I'm going to go ahead and add a can of cream of chicken soup. Whoops. Now how you like that? That lid popped right off. The little tab. So I might have to open them like this. I don't even know if that'll work. I might have to get some pliers and open these things up. Maybe I can open up the other end. I'll do this old school. It had a pop top and the pop top broke. So while it's good and hot and still bubbling, I'm going to add this so this can dissolve. This is cream of chicken soup. All right. 1 can of cream of chicken soup. I'm just going to dissolve that around. I'm going to go ahead and put some pepper in while they're calming down here. And just a little bit of salt. All right. I'm going to just stir it one more time with my fork. Just to make sure they're not going to... All right, that's the timer. They've done 10 minutes. I think you turn them down now, but let me check. Stir so they don't stick. Place cooked chicken in the pot with the dumplings. Add the salt and pepper. Cover and simmer 10 minutes. So we are going to simmer it. Cover and simmer it. I'm going to go ahead and add this chicken. I got a whole bowl of chicken here. Let me bring you over here and you can watch kind of what I'm doing. They're still boiling. I'm going to move them over just a minute because now we want this to cool off, simmer up. So I got my whole bowl of chicken in there that I've picked off the bones. I'm just going to stir this around a little bit. Set it back on the eye. All right. Let me show you down in the pot. I'll try to keep showing you down in the pot. All right. All that chicken is in there. White meat and dark meat. I use all the goodness. I pick it all off to make sure it's all good. Now this is going to thicken up as it sits. Let me see if I can. There's one of the dumplings right there. So they're all down in there. Good gravy. Chicken, dumplings. Now I'm going to put this lid on it and I'm going to simmer it 10 minutes. At that point, they'll be done. So you could add some butter to that. That sounds good too. Butter's good on everything. Tony don't like chicken and dumplings, so he'll eat anything. But there's a couple things that he just don't like, and he don't like chicken and dumplings. I don't know what it is about them. Me and Brooke, we love chicken and dumplings. That used to be one of my favorite things growing up was chicken and dumplings. But sometimes my mom would make squirrel dumplings. I would not eat that today, but as a kid, I wouldn't eat the squirrel, but I would dig down in a pot and get me a dumpling out. She made them big fluffy dumplings out of Bisquick. But she would make it with squirrel, And the bones and all would be down in that pot. And you'd have to pick through the bones and the squirrel to find you a dumpling to eat. But I can remember that. I would no more eat that today than the man on the moon. I just, no. But when I was little, I loved them dumplings. I did put salt and pepper in it already. So they're all done. All I got to do now is let it simmer 10 minutes and I'll be ready to hit the road. I'm going to go pick up my friend Gladys and we are going to ride out and visit with these people. So, and get that done. Tony, I brought Tony food home from church. So he's gone now. He had to go somewhere, so he'll eat that when he gets back later. So, yeah, I wasn't planning on taking me any of these out, but I might scoop me a little bowl out. Tony won't eat any chicken and dumplings. That's one thing. He said he'll eat chicken and gravy with biscuits, but he's not going to eat a dumpling. So I don't know why he never liked dumplings, but he just don't. But Brooke, she loves them, and so do I. So anytime I know she's coming, then I'd make them, and me and her could eat them. But it makes a big old pot. But I asked the people, that elderly couple, I asked their caregiver, I said, would y'all rather have chicken noodle soup homemade or chicken and dumplings? I could do either one today. She said chicken and dumplings. I said, okay, you got it. I said, well, I'll be out after a while to bring your cookies to you, and I'm going to bring some chicken and dumplings, and I'll get out there before, I don't know if they'll eat it today or tomorrow. They're not big eaters, so usually if I take something out there, she'll say they always have enough for lunch the next day. So they like company, so it's going to give me and my friends going to run out there and just visit with them a few minutes. So that's good. I like to visit with them. They just love the company. And y'all, their granddaughter, I don't know how old their granddaughter was, but their granddaughter died the other day. Now she has 2 kids in school. But so she's got to be she's probably in her 30s, but I'm not sure. Because if they're in their 80s, she's probably about in her 30s, but she was found dead the other day. I don't know what happened to her. But so they just lost a granddaughter, just like 2 days ago. So that's another reason we want to go out and just go by and visit them. They wasn't able to come to church today. The man had some type of surgery on his foot or something, so they kind of been staying in. So I'm going to run this out to them. It's got about 5 more minutes. It's just going to simmer. Y'all seen what it is. I don't know what happened to their granddaughter. I think they said her kids came home from school and found her. So that's all I know. So I know they crave the company. And their caregiver she said, I've never met anyone as nice as you that would bring food out here. She said, you're blowing my mind. She said, I've never met someone like you. So it's good. It's a good testimony for her too. You know, so she's real nice. Their caregiver's 82. She's a friend of the family, and she's good friends with them, so she stays there and tries to help look after them. And they're both 81, I think, and the caregiver's 82. But the lady has dementia, so that's why, you got to have somebody there when somebody's got dementia. So let's see what's going on. These are covered. I'm just going to take a peek and spread them around. They're thickening up. Let me show y'all this, and I'm going to get off here so I can go get ready. I'm going to take this out there while they're hot. So they will continue to thicken up some. But there you have it. They're nice and juicy and got the dumplings down in there. So I'm just going to keep on letting them simmer with the lid on. And that's going to thicken them up some. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. We'll be back on. I'll be on at 8 o'clock tonight. And maybe I'll know what happened more with that. They don't know what happened, I don't think. But they were waiting today to find out. I think they were having some kind of private family thing for her. But I don't know the gist of the whole thing. So anyhow, if y'all know any elderly people that live by you, check in on them. See if they need company or a bite to eat or something. But I was trying to read these comments here. Anyhow, y'all have a great day. And I'm going to get this stuff packed up here, get my kitchen cleaned up real quick, and hit the road. I'll see y'all at 8 o'clock tonight, okay? Have a great day, y'all.